Hello, everybody. This is our first try into writing our essays. And this is the way we're going to be setting up essays and things like that for the rest of the school year. So when we're writing an essay, there's kind of like three big parts to an essay. There's the beginning, the middle parts, and the end. In an essay, we call it the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Those are just sort of the fancy versions of the words. The way that we can show it here is that we have the star of the show and the heart of the essay. The start of the show is the first couple of sentences. Like, my family is small but really exciting. Instead of saying, I have a family, this sentence makes it more fun to read. And it makes the person say, well, how is their family this exciting if it's small? So it brings you in. It becomes the star. The next part is going to be the heart. It's what you're trying to convince the reader of in your essay. So I'm saying I have the best family ever. I'm trying to convince you, the reader, that my family is the best. These 3 points are the points. You can also call them dots, whatever works best for you. I like to use blue because it shows a little bit different from these ones. So the points are the point you're trying to make. What are you trying to say to prove that your heart statement is right? So my first one says, I have a big sister. My sister is really helpful. She is a lawyer and she helps people. So that's my first one. We're going to start going bigger and bigger with our paragraphs, but we'll start with 1 or 2, maybe 3 paragraphs at the beginning. My second point. Here I'm talking about just my sister. Now in this point, I'm going to talk about just my parents. My mom is awesome and she lives in Florida. My dad was cool too. He was a firefighter. They are good people. Now my last one, I'm going to talk about my nieces. My sister has 3 daughters. Their names are Angela, Vanessa, and Callista. They are great dancers and awesome readers. So I gave 3 reasons why I believe that my family is the best ever. I talked about my sister, I talked about my parents, and I talked about my nieces. Then I have the conclusion, which is wrapping it up. And when somebody says, hey, you need to wrap it up, they say, hey, you need to finish this. So with the present, it reminds us to wrap it up, to finish it up. So it says, my family is the best in the world. I am so glad to call them my family. So I took all the information that I said in the beginning of my essay and in the middle of my essay, and I finished it up and wrapped it up with a nice bow. So that's how we're going to start practicing writing essays and writing this year. When we write fiction, so pretend stories, we won't use this model. We'll use kind of a beginning, middle, end situation. But this is how we can start practicing so that as we get older, we become better and better writers, and we can convince people that your heart statement is the correct answer.